A CM Punk and Roman Reigns altercation after Raw went off air. John Cena to NXT, where he can finally learn how to sell. The real reason Edge isn't back in WWE. And more. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. The Monday 17th episode of Raw was one of the best of the year. John Cena got a huge reaction for his last ever Raw appearance. Maxine Dupree beat Becky Lynch to become the new Intercontinental Women's Champion. And Dolph Ziggler made a surprise return to lose to Solo Sikoa. But even with all those exciting segments throughout the night, the most fun was the main event. The Vision came out, then Drew McIntyre came out, then CM Punk came out, then Jimmy and Jey Uso came out, then Cody Rhodes came out, then Brock Lesnar came out, then the executive producer credits came out, and then, finally, Roman Reigns also came out, and people say WWE is just entrances these days. This was to build to the men's War Games match at Survivor Series next Saturday, with The Vision plus Brock and Mandatory Random Drew Edition taking on the babyface Avengers of Roman, Punk, Cody, and the Usos. The two sides brawled, with Roman awesomely spearing Bronson Reed and an NYPD officer into the timekeeper's area as the show went off air. Fan footage has been posted from Madison Square Garden which showed the fighting continue long after the Netflix feed had ended. Jimmy and Jey had a superkick party with Bron Breakker and Logan Paul. Cody hit a Cody cutter off the barricade onto McIntyre through the commentary table, and Punk sent the New York crowd home happy by telling the production monkeys to play John Cena's music to close the show. But amidst all this, there was an altercation between Punk and Reigns. Seemingly after the faces had chased the heels away, Roman and Punk had a stare down. And thanks to body cam footage shared by WWE, we can hear what they said to each other. Punk first said, "If you're gonna do this and try and stab me in the back, then you're gonna have an enemy." To which Roman replied, "Just remember this, I don't stab in the back. I don't have to. I'll look you in your eyes and put that knife in your heart." Punk and Roman have recent history inside War Games, with Punk doing Paul Heyman a favour for last year's show, where he would team with a reluctant Reigns, which brought us this excellent pose of neither guy wanting to be anywhere near each other. This built to their WrestleMania 41 match, the three-way Heyman on a Paul match with added Seth Rollins. Heyman betrayed them both though, and sided with Rollins to form the Vision. While the two have interacted since then, where Reigns returned in July, saving Punk and Jey Uso from a Braun and Bronson attack, this renewed War Games tension could reveal WWE's big plans for next year. One of the original main WrestleMania 42 matches was speculated to be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. That had to be scrapped with Seth's injury. Now the title is on Punk, Roman makes sense as his challenger for Mania. Triple H has often treated Survivor Series as the road to WrestleMania, and this could be the start of that build. After a lackluster last 6 months following Mania 41, WWE finally feels like it's kicking up a gear in the build to Survivor Series and John Cena's retirement show on the 13th of December, and the star power and better creative looks like it's getting results. The Netflix viewing figures are in for the November 10th episode of Raw, which was Cena's last show in Boston, where he ended up winning the Intercontinental title, and he helped it draw 2.8 million global viewers, with 5.1 million global hours viewed. This is up a huge 400,000 viewers, or 17% from the previous week's show. It ended up being the third most watched Netflix show in the United States for that week, and is Raw's best viewership number since August, which coincidentally was the last time all the big stars were there. So many people seem to be tuning in to watch Cena's final run of shows. It might even include two of the most controversial men on the planet. WWE showed Stephanie McMahon on camera in the crowd during the November 17th Raw in Madison Square Garden. Hilariously, her brother Shane was also there, but they ignored him. Shane appears to have fallen out of favour with the TKO-led era of WWE. He hasn't been seen since he tried to have an impromptu match with The Miz at WrestleMania 39, but immediately tore his quads. The next day, WWE announced they would be forming TKO. I'm not saying those two things are related. I'm merely pointing out that Shane was mysteriously injured by a sniper, and the very next day, his family business was sold. Anyway, it makes sense WWE didn't show Shane on Raw. He tried to negotiate working with AEW the previous year. He brings what's known as Big Kendall energy, and I bet Triple H just thought it was hilarious to ignore him. He reportedly now owns 0% of the new WWE, but On the 13th of December, it's speculated we might see the largest private individual shareholder of TKO stock at John Cena's retirement show, Vince McMahon. The Wrestling Observer has revealed there's been a lot of talk backstage amongst talent that Vince could be in attendance for Saturday night's main event next month. McMahon has been almost entirely scrubbed from WWE's current product, with him never being referenced on televisions and licensees removing him from video games, which made it very interesting when a photo of him was used in the tribute package to Hulk Hogan following Belair's passing. At the time, Luke and I speculated this was the start of WWE dipping their toe in the reactions waters to gauge what a response to using Vince again would be. The week after, Brock Lesnar made his inevitable return to the company despite being named in the same sexual misconduct lawsuit that forced Vince to resign. But, as New Labour's spin doctor Alistair Campbell always advised his government, if you're going to release some bad news, might as well release a load of it to bury them in the news cycle. Because there's also reported speculation behind the scenes that Cena's retirement show, which is taking place in Washington, D.C., cheap pop in the comments, will also have the President of the United States, Donald Trump, in attendance. The cynical PR theory there is that so many people will be talking about the president being at a WWE show, the attention on Vince will be split. Do you think Vince will be in the crowd for Cena's retirement show? And if so, what do you think the reaction will be? Let me know in the comments. But before Cena retires, he's got to do a run in NXT first. During the Boston episode of Raw, Cena announced what might have been the only thing he's actually requested he get to do in his retirement tour, as everything else appears to have been dictated by WWE, that he gets to elevate the next group of young wrestlers. He reportedly loved visiting the Performance Center last month, which gave him the idea for his retirement show to also be made up of main roster stars taking on NXT ones. And now, revealed on the 18th of November episode of NXT, Cena will make another announcement. The men's and women's Iron Survivor challenges will return again for the Deadline PLE, which is a 25-minute phased entry match where the winner is the wrestler with the most pinfall points. It's an Iron Man match mixed with a Royal Rumble, and it's one of the better new match stipulations in recent times. And for this year's matches, Cena will announce who will compete in them on next week's episode. One is most probably going to be Javon Evans, where hopefully he eventually wins something. Following Bodyslam.net's report that multiple executives in WWE believe he's not only the present but also the future of the company, the Wrestling Observer has revealed the talent believe that too. I was told that John Cena, he went down to developmental and everything, and apparently he is very, very high on Javon. Sheamus had a match with him at a house show, and Sheamus was raving about him. Now it's over to another wrestling legend who just won't retire. Turbo John.
Hi everyone, it's professional wrestler Turbo John here to say a special thank you to a certain group of fine individuals who have sponsored the WrestleTalk news over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Now you may have heard about the battles my brother and I have had since the duo, the devastating, the ugly tag team known as Al Go Rhythm. They're a bunch of let me tell you that you are helping us defeat them. You, all of the Turbo Maniacs out there, are helping us beat the almighty Al Go Rhythm. I really hope that they censor me saying the word there. Because it's people like you, Big Jiggy, Josh Martin, Born to Do It, Evan Shabley, John's Better, Beefier Brother, James Morrison, Abominable Michael Abbott, The Ring Rust Warrior, Rustage, The Machine Gun, Alex Anderson, he's a sexy man, not an Andrew Gross man, Bald and Rummy, Brett Linforth, and Flavor Flav Letterman. People like you are the reason why WrestleTalk thrives, the reason WrestleTalk is awesome, because we can defeat Al Go Rhythm with your help. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
On the 5th of September episode of SmackDown, Cena hit a spear on Sami Zayn. 2 weeks later, at AEW All Out, Edge responded, doing a 5-knuckle shuffle against FTR for one of the loudest pops of the night. This was clearly two veterans paying tribute to each other from their respective warring Montague and Capulet balconies. Alas, these star-crossed wrestlers wouldn't be able to have one last meeting before Cena bowed out. But the thing is, maybe they could have. Tony Khan has strode straight into enemy territory to be interviewed by Ariel Helwani. Helwani, over the years, has taken a largely pro-WWE stance on his show, conducting softball interviews with the likes of WWE President Nick Khan, while often criticising AEW. Helwani asked Tony a number of difficult questions, which I think is great, that's what he should be doing. I just wish he did the same for his WWE guests, which Khan navigated far better than usual. On former AEW star Rusev, who was reportedly difficult to work with backstage, Khan said, "I think he and I just, at times, had different visions of things. That's okay, because everyone is entitled to different opinions and different ideas. He was excited to go back to WWE and did go back. I wish him the best." On Jericho, who has been publicly praising WWE despite being under AEW contract until the end of the year, Khan rather factually stated, "Chris Jericho is somebody who is in AEW. He's been away from us for a bit. I love Chris personally and professionally. I just reached out and wished him a happy birthday recently." And on that time, he fired CM Punk and then played the security footage of his life supposedly being threatened. Khan reflected, "I didn't necessarily agree with everything that was said in Punk's 2024 interview with Helwani, but also it's a TV show and the brawling footage did a very strong number. I think AEW is doing really well right now, and I'm really happy with what the people on the shows are doing, and it wasn't the first time that Punk and I disagreed about something, and it may not ever be the last, and that's okay." And then Helwani brought up the question of Edge. Had WWE ever reached out to AEW like they did in the past about Billy Gunn being allowed to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as part of DX in 2019, which AEW agreed to, so then Triple H called them a pissant company at the actual ceremony in front of Gunn? Did WWE ask about using Edge in Cena's retirement tour? Khan simply replied, "No. They never reached out." Want to hear mine and Luke's full thoughts on this week's Raw? Then click on the video on screen now where we ask, is WWE hot again? Subscribe to the WrestleTalk podcast wherever you listen to that kind of stuff.